I'd like the Swiss roll dispenser in my arm.
Yeah. I can have a. I can.
I'd be so good for tea parties.
Selamat pagi, everyone, and welcome to OCHATO, the fortnightly podcast where we drink tea and review manga. I am Jade.
I'm Oliver.
And I'm Suellen.
So every 2 weeks, we pick a manga that one of us has recommended, and we read up to a certain chapter and discuss the manga with a megaton of spoilers. This week, we are reading Nichijou by Keiichi Arawi, up to and including chapter 52. Recommended by me. But before diving in, we must know the answer to the most important question: what is everyone drinking in their mug?
Well. I'm drinking Zinga I believe, from Bird and Blend, and it's lemon and ginger. Perfect for this cold weather. I feel like the ginger really warms you up on the inside. Yes.
funny you should say that you have lemon in yours, because I also have lemon in mine, and the lemon in mine is in Moondrop Dreams. It's a tea from Bird and Blend in their advent calendar. It's the 24th day because
what? Hang on a minute. Hang on a second.
That's a spoiler, Jade. You're spoiling that.
It's only the 12th today.
You know how it is.
No, I don't. Please explain.
I opened the box and 24 spoke to me. It said, "Please pick me," so I picked it.
Are you the kind of person that you'll get the advent calendar, it's got the big chocolate on 24, and you're like, yes, I know it's only the 10th, but I'm going to eat this now?
Yes, that's me. That's exactly me. I also put it in order as soon as it came.
Mm-hmm. But then you drank it at 24th anyway.
You put it in order just so you could break the hierarchy.
Exactly. Unsettling the system. So this tea has rooibos, apple pieces, rosehip, lavender, lemon peel, fermented lemon peel, orange peel, and natural flavoring. And it tastes like, those jelly cups that you get sometimes. It tastes like those.
What's a jelly cup?
I do not actually.
Jelly in a cup.
Like those Chinese
cups jelly. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just fruity jelly.
So the lavender really comes through in this one. I would argue even more than the lemon. So yeah, but it's really, really nice, and I can't wait till you open the 24th day, Ollie, so you can also try it.
I'm blaming you.
Speaking of, what are you drinking?
Well, thanks to a certain Suellen, thank you, I have also got an advent calendar that is tea from Bird and Blend. So I'm on the 11th, so I'm only one day behind. And this is apple strudel. It's apple and cinnamon. So freeze-dried apple, cinnamon, air-dried apple as well, rosehip, hibiscus, some vanilla, orange peel, and rooibos. It's very nice. It's quite appley. Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. Thank you.
God damn it! How could you spoil it for me, Ollie?
I'm not accepting this. No apologies.
Yeah, I can't wait to go through all of the teas in the advent calendar. So thank you very much. So we are reading Nichijou by Keiichi Arawi, and this was first published in 2006. And I know that 52 is quite a big number, but the chapters are relatively short, and it's primarily about just ordinary school lives. Ollie's like,
ordinary?
Yeah, ordinary. We're introduced to a number of characters, including a professor who is absolutely tiny. We also have Nano-chan, the robot girl with a huge spinny thing on her back. What do you call it? Like a wind up
The
thing.
a clockwork key, maybe?
Clockwork Key, exactly. We also have 3 of the high school girls who are
Mio
down some-
Naganohara, Yuuko
Yes.
Aoi, and Mai Minakami.
Exactly. And we also have 2 other students. One is a boy with glasses who gets his butler to follow him around and like sort out like the destruction that has happened to him due to this girl always like, I don't know how to describe it, like she's like there with like a missile.
Every day a different like assault weapon.
We have those 2 characters as well. And also, was it the principal as well with the deer? That was a particularly striking chapter. So this series is more of like a one shot than like a 2 shot, than a multi shot.
Than an ongoing series.
Yes, than an ongoing series. What were your first impressions of Nichijou?
Well, I have an interesting history with Nichijou because I noticed, heard of the series from a while ago. Way before, when I really liked Barakamon, which is another sort of slice of life manga, and I think Amazon or some forums on anime keeps recommending me Nichijou, and I've been meaning to check it out. And I've seen clips around like Twitter of see out of context clips, but I guess those clips didn't do them a favor, because when I watched it, I didn't find it that funny. It was a bit odd. In fact, so I had like a preconceived impression of Nichijou. I thought it was going to be some just really weird humor going on. But when I was reading manga, I was pleasantly surprised that it was really, really funny. It was actually right up my alley, some of the humor. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to watch the anime and understand those out of context clues, or out of context clips. Maybe it was just sort of a mistake. But overall, my initial impression is that it exceeded my expectations. Every chapter is a joy to read. I think I laughed at the majority of them. They're all bangers. They're all bangers. Yeah, actually, when I type LOL, sometimes I'm not actually LOL in. But
what? The internet has lied to me.
LOL in, there you go. Makes you LOL in real life.
I'm going to ban you from the internet for a few days. For my part, I was also fairly pleasantly surprised. I came into this having read a related, but I don't think explicitly related series, Danshiko Konesei no Nichijou, which is Daily Lives of High School Boys, which is quite a different sense of humor. It's a lot less explosive, shall we say. So I came into this not quite knowing what to expect, but comparing it to that, I enjoyed it. I especially liked the kind of breadth of different characters and how some of them really you wouldn't expect, like Sakamoto, the cat, who can talk. I thought was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, an enjoyable read was kind of, I guess, my overall first impressions.
Wow, some very good reviews from you two. Yeah. I'm going to say exactly the same thing as you guys and go, yeah, this really, cheered me up. You start reading and you're like, I wonder where the mangaka will take us next. And they take us to like the ozone layer. Like it's so random at times that it's so lovable because of that. And I really enjoyed it. I started watching the anime when I was in high school, and I liked the anime because of the voice acting and like just the sound effects and like the color, even the colors that they use. Like it's very sort of with like muted in a way, which to me added to like the ordinariness of it. But that's what made it stand out more, because the unordinary acts of the people in this seemingly ordinary world is just it was really, really like funny to me. So like reading the manga was very new, and I really liked the manga. I thought it did well in like translating the humor. So I know we went through a brief outline of characters, but speaking of characters, what are your favorite characters? What did you think of them? Were there any that you thought didn't fit in, or what did you think?
For my part, I quite like the characters generally. They're all, I say all, the trio, the Sucharaka trio. So this is Mio, Yuuko, and Mai. I thought all seemed pretty normal at first, and I especially liked kind of Mio having the kind of freakouts. I overheard, I think it was her that had the drawings.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing of that's exactly how it goes in your head when you're kind of imagining that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what's up with the Shinonome lab with Hakase. Is she like 8? The scientist professor, and then Nano, who's I want to say 2 or something, but she looks like a normal schoolgirl other than the big clockwork key in her back. Why are they there? They're fun, but they're so random.
Yeah.
And then I did also quite like Kojiro Sasahara, who's the boy that goes around with his butler, but he's actually like just from a family of farmers, which made it much more enjoyable once you work out that he's not actually really fancy upper class. I like them. I thought they all had pretty good I guess ways of interacting with each other, especially the first 3. And it's just the kind of humor that you have at that kind of age between your friends. So yeah, I like them.
Yeah, I just yeah, this manga, I guess like on the surface you're like, oh, it's a, you know, when you try to recommend to people, it's like, oh, how do you even explain it? Like, it's a comedy, it's a slice of life, it has bizarre humors, but actually there's a lot that goes into each of the character. They're not there for the sake of the jokes. I feel like they all have sort of their own thing that makes them stands out, and that's why that makes the jokes work. Like with Mio, with sort of her hobby of being a mangaka, I guess, drawing mangas, and likes men with glasses. That comes through. And Yuuko, who's super not clumsy, but like, you know, the one who's like, oh, oops, I forgot to do my homework, like all the time. Yeah, and also likes to, you know, have fun and makes her friends laugh, and even when she's ill, like trying to do magic tricks. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, and Mai, who's like, you know, studious, quiet type, but unpredictable, always doing like crazy things behind the back, just to mess with her friends.
She was the funniest for me.
Yeah. Actually, she only makes like mess with Yuuko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the professor is so cheeky. Like she's like pretending like, oh yeah, I can help you with the key, but look at this. What about this?
Here's a cake dispenser.
Yeah, like God. Just keep distracting Nano. She's a bit toxic, to be honest.
Poor Nano. I feel so bad for Nano.
Yeah, she's just like, I just want to be an ordinary girl and fit in. But it's cute that like her classmates just don't care. They're like, we know that you're a robot. It's okay. Don't worry. But yeah, I just love it's just so diverse. Yeah, like Ollie, you said, the breadth of characters it's incredible. You just want to like watch them all the time. You want to know more constantly. And these are just the main characters, and there's so many distinctive like side characters that we met a couple of times that go off in their own journeys. Yeah, they're incredible.
For me, I really liked the cast of characters that we have. Like the slices of life that we got from this were indeed like slices of everyone's life, and it was really like funny to read. From everyone just accepting Nano-chan in their class as just this robot girl is just, of course it would happen in this manga. And I agree about the trio as well. From the way I saw it, Mai-chan is, you're sort of aloof, and as you were saying, Suellen, very unpredictable. Mio-chan, I thought she was very collected, but she panicked so easily, especially when her drawings got leaked and stuff like that. When she was about to like bribe the police officer.
That was a good chapter.
Oh, that was amazing. Yuuko-chan, actually, I felt like was our lens into their life. I thought that even though it wasn't explicitly from her perspective, I felt like it was from her perspective in a way, because I don't know if it's again coming back to like the ordinariness of it, but to be in those situations and have that, like, the social interactions that they do, it's just very like, you can sort of feel yourself in there. So I really liked the characters in Nichijou.
It's very much their kind of humor that they blend in the ordinary and the extra special, like characters having various rocket launchers on them at any given time. One of the characters being a robot that's kind of wind up, one of them being a talking cat. And I think that not being able to tell what's kind of, people's daydreams and what's actually the regular daily life is part of the fun.
Do you think that being in a slice of lifestyle suits this manga?
For me, yeah, definitely. It's the whole reason it works is because you've got that kind of aspect where you're at school and you're maybe a bit bored and you'll start daydreaming about, the things that can happen, or even just maybe you do draw some BL in your free time and then you really, really, really don't want anybody to find out. And having that contrast between the kind of mundane, ordinary lives and these kind of special things going on is what makes it funny, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it gives them more freedom to do bizarre things. You just suddenly, like, one day they're in the classroom talking about tests, and then the other day they're just stuck in an elevator, and we never see them get out of the elevator or resolves. And yeah, so I think it gives it that freedom to do any gag and makes it unpredictable as well, because it's slice of life. It doesn't have to follow any, plot necessary stories.
What did you guys think about the artwork in Nichijou?
It's perfect for it. I would not fault it for anything. They're just so funny. It just works so well. I guess like that one thing that I found it quite interesting is that when it comes to Nano's chapters, hers is like, instead of like your traditional manga panels, it's like just a 4-panel ones that are like, like consecutive small panels. I don't know why. Is it because she's a robot and things are orderly? Oh,
I like that. Maybe
like a robot. Because I just noticed that when it's from her perspective or her sort of life story. But apart from that, I liked how the art mangaka sometimes utilizes copy and paste, especially in that elevator chapter. It got me, even though there's not much, like, that's when the jokes work well. Like, I guess like having the art being repeated is part of the joke as well. But yeah, even though like artistically there's not much going on, but the jokes worked so well. The elevator, they're just like stuck and like dead. And there's close-ups, same drawing in bigger panels, and that like maybe minor changes and sometimes where there's like an expression change. I found that so funny. I was laughing the whole way through. But yeah, like the art really delivered the jokes really well.
I agree, and I think that despite being maybe not the most detailed of art styles, it really showcases how you can use art for humor in this one in particular. And I watched a little bit of the anime as well. I've seen a couple of scenes from it, and that also does the same thing where you've got this relatively not hugely detailed but quite stylized and very cute art style that goes on, and you can have these sketches, these skits where it's just the same few panels, and it works because they've kind of set that tone. And then you can also have and they did this a bit less in the manga, I thought, than in the anime. But for example, the scene where Mio has her manga kind of leaked, and she has to like take out the policeman and then everybody around that's got all her manga pages, and especially in the anime, that then looking like a super high budget thing worked beautifully as the contrast. It was a little less contrasty in the manga, but I still felt it worked well, and they did really well kind of showing the action scenes. I don't know what the term for it is, but like the paneling for it and the way that you frame the camera worked really nicely. So I like the art style. I feel that while not, ridiculously pretty, unlike some of the other manga that we've read, case in point, Witch Atelier, Berserk,
Yes,
I still think that wasn't to its detriment at all,
Mhm.
and it was a very good fit.
I think that's the good thing about manga and comics. Like, you really don't need crazy good art to tell a good story, especially in humor as well, especially in comedy. Like, sometimes the bad, quote unquote, bad or rough art, with air quotes, actually, either it doesn't matter or actually enhance the experience. Like, I mean, think about One Punch Man. It started off as a web comic, and it like the author's art is actually, you can say, not that great, but like,
Let's be real, it's terrible.
yeah, exactly. But it's a good story and people loved it. So yeah, so if you got a story to tell, just tell it. And your art, it will improve over time, maybe. But even if it doesn't, if you got a good story, people still love it, right?
Yeah, like whatever style you have, there will be someone in the world who appreciates it.
Yeah.
So if you are a creator, just keep creating.
This just reminds me of the chapter where like Yuuko and Mio competing their drawings to be on the English test or whatever. And then like, I love that. I just love it when mangas, like, you have a good mangaka and then the characters have to draw something, and I just love it when they make their characters draw, and it just turns out hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, I think for me, I really like the art in this. I thought that, as you guys have touched on as well, like the simplicity of this of the art style is like an addition to the unordinary ordinariness in Nichijou, and I think that's what really like makes it fit. I agree, like it's very cute and stuff, and I liked that it changed a lot, as you said, in like the fight scenes, or like the bits where there's just like total chaos. And speaking of chaos, I really liked that the pace of the manga would like change accordingly, so going from calm to like chaotic really quickly to just like acceptance or something. I like that they utilize different forms of communication. So like, do you remember the non-verbal chapter with the Tower of Cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so different, and I really liked it because it just broke up all the other chapters. I felt like there was just always something different in each chapter, whether it was the art or the humor or the introducing new characters or whatever is happening. It was just very distinct, and I really liked it. Were there any significant or standout moments for you?
Did you have a favorite skit? Is, I guess,
yeah.
what I'd like to ask.
There's too many, man.
There are a lot indeed.
Like, I'm looking back, I'm like, these are all just incredible.
I had two. The one in the manga that we've actually read in the chapter list was the one with Mai doing progressively weirder things just to try and get, and Yuko's like, I'm not going to laugh. Because that's the kind of thing I could actually see, maybe not the standing on the desk, but doing the just progressively weirder things to try and get your friend to laugh in class. Absolutely have been there, done that. Overall, I have my favorite skit that makes me laugh every single time is actually, I saw it in the anime first. It's the fire alarm skit. I don't know if we covered it in this set. I don't think we did. But there's like the warning, the danger note that it plays at the start of the skit gets me every single time. It's maybe my favorite short skit from anything anime. I would recommend watching it if you can. It just cracks me up every time. It's like you're just looking at the fire alarm and you know that you shouldn't be pressing it, but you're standing there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, like all the skits that I mentioned are the ones that are so like memorable to me and I laugh, the magic trick one. I love how that actually came back.
Yeah.
At one point when they're like, oh, let's play cards, and the cards has all aces. The elevator one. I guess there's one that we didn't talk about is when the professor, I think when Nano is confronting the professor about the key and all the stuff that she's been doing to her, the over-exaggerated reactions that Nano got programmed to do every time like something crazy happens. I can't find a chapter, but that got me pretty good as well. Yeah, there's just so many, and of course Mayo suplexing everyone to get the manga back.
That one's a classic, I think.
Yeah, so good.
Oh man,
Jade, did you have any favorites?
Yes, I think my top favorite one is when Yuuko has been banished to the corridor, maybe for being late or forgetting to hand in homework or something, and then she witnesses the showdown between the principal and the deer, and she's like just frozen because like she's like looking around like, am I the only one witnessing this battle? And then she's like, I've got to tell someone, and then when she finally gets a chance to or something, like it's over. And I loved it in the anime and I loved it in the manga. It's absolutely like one of my favorite moments, I think.
Definitely. I laughed quite a bit there.
Okay, so in our podcast we have a special we have a special section where we bring a character from the manga that we read previously into the one we're reading currently. And which manga was that, I hear you ask? Well, that's a very good question, because the manga that we read last time, which was around 3 weeks ago, was Kaguya-sama, Love is War. So, how do you think the characters from Love is War would fare? So who do you want to bring in?
We've got to bring in the main couple.
Yes, absolutely.
I've already got a full headcanon of how they'd work in this one.
Oh yeah.
I reckon they'd be fantastic as side characters, and they'd be two people, right? And they clearly like each other, and everybody in the school except them knows it. And you basically would have one of our main three characters, so Mio, Yuuko, or Mai, coming into them with their ridiculously elaborate plans that just won't quite work. And you'd have progressive sketches where they'd come up with more and more elaborate ways to try and get the other one to confess, none of which work. And then if any of our main three characters were to be I'm going to help, it would also fail miserably because they're just a bit too blockheaded. I think they'd fit actually quite well into this. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see them doing crazy things like skywriting.
Yeah.
But then Nano would just accidentally be shot into the air and just ruin the writing, and it will become a gag. I don't know, you remove one of the katakanas and it says something really threatening instead. I can imagine that. It's this is going off topic, but there was a joke in a different anime where it's I'm going to steal this notebook like as a note, but then somehow they accidentally added a stroke in there, and it says, "I'm going to steal your heart." I can imagine like something happening like that funny, like crazily in this manga where they're trying to like, confess to each other or trying to get the other people to confess in crazy ways. But yeah, the other characters would not be helpful in any way. They'll try, but
I love both of your interpretations. I think for me, I would love to see Kaguya and Shirogane take up this exact same positions at this school, so president and vice president, and like more chaos would ensue, because maybe like the trio would interact with them but it would never go right or something, or like they'd clash and something like really weird will happen. But I can see it totally working. I feel like this is a really good match in terms of like humor for sure, and like the character personalities, I think. Although Shirogane and Kaguya are a bit more like introspective, but I really think it could work really, really well. So do you guys have any final thoughts on Nichijou?
Yeah, it's a great manga. You can pick it up at any point. In fact, actually, it will be more hilarious if you pick it up at a random point in volume, because you just it doesn't matter. You still don't know why Nano is a robot. You still don't know why does that girl, I think it's Misato, her name is, got so many weapons and trying to kill Sasahara. Sasahara always comes out unscathed. Why? So yeah, highly recommended to anyone just wants some good laughs in their lives in these gloomy times.
By gloomy, you mean winter, I take it.
Yeah, same difference.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. It's very easy to kind of pick up and read a few chapters, and you don't need to be really up to date. They've got a few running gags that, of course, help if you remember what happened before, but you don't need that. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I'd be curious if you'd recommend picking up the manga or the anime for this, as they're both quite different. What would you recommend?
How different is it? Is it like a 1-to-1 adaptation, if you remember?
It's pretty close, yeah. I'd say it feels a bit more big budget in the big budget bits, like, for example, Mio's thing with her manga or with her BL that she's been writing is, I would say, a little more, a little better in the anime, but then it's a bit less, just you can pick it up and read 1 or 2 chapters for the anime, because you've got to kind of watch an episode. So, I don't know, which format do you reckon would work better?
I think for me, I think they both have their distinctive qualities. I think in my mind, the manga is more quietly humorous, sort of more unspoken kind of humor.
Well, with the rocket launches.
Yeah. And like I don't know how to describe it really. It's just, it happens. I suppose I like the music in the anime. And I think it fits really, really well. Even the music is like, it's very ordinary, very much Nichijou. But then, of course, like random things happen. It's a hard question, this one.
Yeah,
you bamboozled me. What do you think, Suellen?
I've never seen the anime. In clips of it that actually put me off the manga. So I would recommend just check it out yourselves. Actually, this sort of type of humor kind of reminds me of another slice of life anime. It's called Tanaka-kun. Tanaka-kun is always listless. It's only 12 episodes, but it's finished airing now, and I would recommend it as well. It's quite funny. It's got the same pastel-y sort of coloring, like simple designs, but yeah, the humor is quite similar. I say maybe a little different, but yeah, I would recommend it.
Just as my final thoughts, I enjoyed it. I think the art style, as I kind of said earlier, works really well for it, and it's certainly easy to digest. It was maybe a little random to like really fully click with me, but nonetheless, I had a lot of fun reading it, and I would certainly recommend it.
Very nice. I think for me, I just noticed that my tea bag little paper thing says "Believe in your elf."
Aww.
Yeah, super
Really
cute,
Christmassy.
super Christmassy. I really liked it. It was nice to finally be able to read the manga after all these years of, having seen the anime. Very different. I would like to read Mio's BL if she ever publishes it someday. And oh yes, Suellen, didn't you say that it's resuming, like the mangaka's back or something?
Yeah, this is recent news that it's coming off hiatus. I think already did at the time of reading. Yeah.
I can't wait to like keep reading this. It'll be really fun.
Keep reading.
And I hope we get to read Barakamon someday on this podcast.
In 2022.
I just have one final question. If the professor got to add any useful body part to you, what would you want added?
When you say useful, is that in like heavy air quotes?
Heavy air quotes.
Useful. I'd like the Swiss roll dispenser in my arm.
Yeah. I can have a.
I'd be so good for tea parties.
Oh,
how about you?
I'd want like a vat of tea in my arm, so that my the what is it called, the spigot of a teapot is the only thing that comes out of my wrist, so that I can just angle my arm and pour some freshly brewed tea.
Nice.
Like that. And I'd have your Ember, not sponsored, mug to like keep the I'd have the temperature controls. Yeah.
Go with insulation. It's much better value for money.
What about you, Suellen?
Yeah, I think warm hands is a good call. Like we had, warm hands that could warm up my tea. And or I can warm up other people's hands.
That's very wholesome. I like that we all picked kind of tea related ones.
Yeah. It's not like we're a tea podcast.
That's all for today. What are we doing next time on OCHATO?
We are having our newly annual tea manga award.
Exactly. But after that, we've got a whole host of new series, new and old series that we are scheduling for 2022. So yes, thank you for listening to this episode of OCHATO.
I'll see you in the next special episode.
Looking forward to it. So I thought I'd skip the woo this time.
What?
It's a special episode. Nice.
We sound like owls.
Okay. Hang on, wait, that's a wolf.
Oh, cool.
And I've just finished my tea too. Good timing.